Meeting for the Gilman Waite light proposal at 6 p.m. Today is Wednesday, October 16th. I'm the Recreation Chairman, Scott Dill. Phil Moulton is the Vice Chairman of the Recreation Department, and Tom is the Light Superintendent?
Yeah.
Light Superintendent for Templeton Light and Water. We had a meeting I think it was about a month ago, with a proposal for a poll hearing for Michael's Lane and Gilman Waite to install 4 poles to draw power from, I believe it's Elm Street, to inside Gilman Waite to install 3 LED lights on the basketball court on one single pole, 2 lights at the basketball court, and 1 security light onto the playground area aimed kind of at the main entrance and towards the dark lot, we call it, the small parking lot. A year ago, we installed 1 of the same style LED lights on the building at the concession stand aiming on the main parking lot. And that one's on 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. It comes on at dark, shuts off in the morning. So our proposal is to install 3 LED lights to attach to a pole between the playground and basketball court. So that final 4th pole will be set. There's the playground, there's a grassy patch, and then there's the basketball court. Our proposal is to put the 2 lights aiming down at the basketball court there, and then 1 aiming at the playground area towards more of the parking lot area. The 2 floodlights on the basketball court will be timed on a timer. They'll come on when it gets dark, and they'll shut off at 9:30 at night. They'll automatically shut off. They'll be timed. No one has to go up there and shut them on or off. They'll just be automatic timer. The main security light will be on 24 hours a day, just like every town property in town. Their lights are on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for security purposes. That is town property, so we've already got 1. We need 1 more to light up the parking lots. We want to run the basketball lights, May through October 31st. And after that, they won't be on anymore after that. After October 31st, it's pretty much over, so we'll shut it down. They'll be shut off at 9:30 at night. I did meet with the chief of police today to get a final, what we talked about at the meeting, patrols and so forth. As you know, with a budget crunch, they've already had to cut the overnight. They're thin as it is now. So he said he can try, but they cover 78 square miles, an officer. So if they're in Templeton, it takes 9 minutes to get down there at normal speed. So they'll get there when they can get there, but he will let them know that the security lights are there, and he thanks us for that. He thanks us so much for putting that first one in. The second one's gonna be even better, because we've noticed a lot more activity in that dark lot of empty bottles and things that shouldn't be there near a playground. So, they're staying away from the main lot, because your average bad guy is not gonna go where there's light. They'll stay away from it. So our intent is to light that area up to capture that parking lot a little bit and protect that area. So now the whole main road that comes in and out of that playground is lit and secure. We will be installing signs throughout the park saying that during these months, the lights will be shutting off by 9:30 and you must exit the park at that time. That's the new hours of the park for those specific time of the year. And there'll be signage everywhere. There'll be sandwich signs that you place, like you see around town, saying that, basketball court will be illuminated from dusk till 9:30. At 9:30, you have to leave. That's it, you can't stay. And then the police know about that, and they're gonna try, like he said, to get in there and enforce that as best they can. If you see something, say something. That's his biggest push. Don't put it on Facebook saying, I saw kids in there after dark. They can't respond to that. If you see something, you have to call them. They can't see it on Facebook 4 hours later and react to it. So if you see something, anything around that park, call the station. Don't put it on Facebook. Don't put it on their Facebook page. They can't react. We've seen vandalism drop tremendously with the installation of that 1 light. Tremendously. We don't have the people doing donuts in the parking lot anymore. We don't have the things getting broken in the park like we used to. So that's a big win for us. And it was just 1 light. So if we can light up the other area and secure that other lot and protect our investment up there, it's a beautiful playground. It's a beautiful park, and I hate to see it get destroyed. So that's pretty much the gist of it. But like I said, we'll put it on social media. We'll put the signage up there. Everything will be installed on our end to make sure at 9:30, that's it. No matter where you are in your game, it's over. It's going to be dark anyway. You really can't see, because the security light won't even be looking at the court. It'll be looking past the court out into the other areas. Luminance wise, I don't think that 1 light is going to affect anything around there. It's going to be down, kind of aiming towards the playground and out, and there's plenty of trees to diffuse any noise, light pollution they call it. They're pretty much direct LED lights, so they're not the old style lights that light up the whole world like a prison light or something. So you're not gonna see the big stadium lights. There are only 3 lights. They're very small. The same ones, if you go out tonight and you look, those are the same style lights you'll see in the parking lot that we're gonna put up there. Anybody have questions about the luminance or anything? Yep.
How far is that gonna project into my yard? Cause I can see the other safety lights clear as day from my backyard.
Which one do you live?
144, right in the corner of Gilman and, Gilman and Elm.
She's on the
Elm.
right-hand side going up the hill.
Oh, okay, right on the other
Michael's
corner.
Lane, rather.
Okay. You won't see it because it's gonna be aiming more towards the playground and that other lot. So between your tree line and the other tree line, it's gonna diffuse a lot of that light. And it's gonna be more down, it's not gonna be up like straight ahead, it's gonna be we're gonna kinda angle it as much as we can down to kinda light up both areas.
What about the light pollution? I'm out in the backyard a lot watching the meteor showers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm certainly not going up to Gilman. Ever do any weird things in the woods? Nope.
Yeah.
I like my backyard nice and dark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna diffuse as much light as we can. I mean, if we have to, we'll put a diffuser on it to kinda keep it away from that corner.
Yeah,
But-
I'd rather not have my backyard lit up.
Yeah, I don't think it's not gonna aim in, where you're at, it's on the other corner. You're on the little corner by going up the hill, right?
Up the
Yep.
main entrance.
Yeah, so that light won't even be angled at your way. It'll be angled more at that small the small parking lot when you pull in?
Yep.
That's where it's gonna be aimed, that way, towards, and the lights are the trees are actually gonna diffuse a lot of that light actually hitting that lot, so it's gonna more light up the parking coming in where that, where the split is?
Yep.
Right in that little area right there, it'll light up pretty
Now,
good.
what do we find out that's not the case?
We can make adjustments. I mean, we'll tweak it down as much as we can. We can't stop all the light. We can only control as much as we can control, so. But, I mean, like you said, these neighbors, anybody that butts a town property has that light. You know what I mean? Most of their properties are lit up all the time, and they just put them where they have to put them. Like, these lights out here, I'm sure those neighbors can see them clear as day.
I'm just trying to remember, we've been there since 1971. It's always been nice and dark and quiet.
Yep.
And now I've got to put up with rubbish. I've got to put up with people peeing in my backyard.
Mm-hmm. And that's what the lights.
People parking in my yard.
Mm-hmm. But that's where you have to call the police.
I have.
Yep, you have to do that because we can't control what people do. We
I
can just try to
have,
make
and
it
it's
safer.
usually they're so busy, and it's so busy up there.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's a very busy area, and that's why I think the lights will be a definite win for
I'm
that
gonna
part.
start posting it, parking, $100 a day. See how that goes.
Mm-hmm. You could do that.
No, seriously, it's
Yeah.
annoying. I look up and there's a guy in my backyard, in my pine grove, taking a leak.
Yep. Yep.
There's windows. It's broad daylight. There's trees. Seriously, he can't go pee behind a tree.
And there's plenty of porta potties. When those tournament happened, there's plenty of porta potties up there. They have them all over the place. And
And there's plenty of trees. The other
Yep.
side there. And no, my backyard. It's like seriously.
yeah, yeah. But I think the lights will definitely cure a lot of the nighttime problems that are happening up there because we're finding a lot more activity.
I don't hear anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's not what you hear; it's what we find after the fact. I mean, it's the drug deals and the things that happen
Well,
after
the
dark.
lights are just gonna make it easy. They can go up there quicker, get it done, and leave.
And we've talked cameras. We've talked. The police department can dial into those cameras and monitor them 24 hours a day, which I think we talked about that a lot today. And if we put them in, they'll monitor them for free, and that's like having a policeman up there 24 hours a day because they'll see it on there as soon as there's motion. They're gonna see it.
So which one's gonna monitor it? The one we don't
dispatch
have?
24 hours a day.
Dispatch?
Yep, they'll monitor it. So they'll monitor that 24 hours a day. But they monitor the schools, they monitor town buildings, they monitor all that stuff now, so we could add to their link, so. That's like having a police officer up there 24 hours a day, which is great, and once you put a sign saying surveillance, you're gonna think twice, a light and cameras, you're not gonna go up there to do your business, you're gonna go somewhere else where it's dark. So, that's the proposal we have, like I said, I think it's a win-win for the park and the neighborhood to make it a little safer in that dark zone. It's a very dark place at night, and I know the police department greatly appreciates us putting lights for their officer safety, because when they go in there, they can't even get out of their cruiser, because it's so dark in the fields, they can't see. They can't even get out, so they won't get out. They'll shine their light, but that's as far as they're gonna go, and I don't blame them.
I know they've got those big spotlights because they've come through my living room
Yep.
before.
Yeah, but they can only see so far. I mean, if they're out in that far corner, they can't see, so. I think the lights is definitely a win. I think it's an improvement to the park. I think it's gonna draw, better things up there than what's happening up there right now in the dark, so I think it's a win-win.
These are the lights that would be going on. I can hand this around.
So the 3 lights that are going playground and 2 for the basketball court? So
Yep.
those are the ones gonna be on a timer, shut off?
Yeah, these two that aim at the court will be on a timer. This one that goes this way will be 24 hours a day.
Also, there's not gonna be a separate light over there?
Nope, no. Because if you put it there, I think it's gonna illuminate too much of his house, you know what I mean? It won't diffuse as much.
Listen, I think anything you do to that park is great. I enjoy everything that goes on over there. Obviously, I have kids that use the park. I use the park, Candy uses the park. It's not gonna, those lights aren't gonna affect me. They're not gonna affect my house
Right.
in any kind of way. We see the lights at the concession stand, and I think it's good that they're over there, because we have seen the kids over there. We see the people walking around at nighttime.
Mhm.
I've made numerous phone calls to the police. I'm at the point now where I just go over myself.
Yep,
If I go over and I beat around, and I'll just walk up to somebody, what's up?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's my neighborhood, I got kids, and then I have to be careful of them out at night, so I think the lights are a great idea. I have no issues with it, but these people live on the opposite side of Natalie,
Right.
so,
Right.
you know, they're right at the bottom as well. You know, my biggest thing was I really came up here to find out what was going on with the lights in the baseball field.
Mhm.
That was my gig, because if we're gonna do the whole thing, I mean, that's what I would like to see, because obviously I enjoy playing ball with the kids, but what's the expense gonna be per year? Have we,
For these,
not only the installation, but the actual use of the lights? Do we have any idea?
The light department is putting the poles in, and we paid for the lights, so there'll be no cost to the rec department for that. The light department's donating that. And as far as the usage, it's minimal. They're LED, they're 85 watts. You know, and they're only gonna be, the two, they're saying are only gonna be on, you know, a few hours a day, so it'll be minimal.
Right.
And the way they're gonna have to do it is they're gonna have to, you know, in order to put them on timers, they're gonna have to actually put a electric service on that pole, because all our lights, they just have a simple photo cell. They come on at night and go off. And
Exactly.
They want them to shut off before that, so that's really the only way that they can accomplish that. And then they have total control of them. They can put switches, timers, whatever they like on there.
we didn't want them on, like, we don't want them on 24 hours a day, because you'd have people playing basketball 2, 3 in the morning up there. That's what happens. I mean, you light up a court, people are gonna come and play. That's,
I think 9:30 is a good time to cut it off.
because then you figure the time they diffuse and get their stuff on and go home, they're gone, you know what I mean? So, and there'll be no light up there for them to play anyway, so they'll go home. But if you post it, at least it's posted, you know, there'll be no trespassing after 9:30, so it can be enforced at that point.
Future plan is for cameras up there?
Yes, yeah, we've talked about that a little bit in our rec meetings, and, you know, now that they have the technology to dial in to our IP address, that's a no-brainer. And cameras are so inexpensive these days and so high quality. You can get night vision.
So is there a time span when you're gonna be doing that?
We're gonna discuss that at our meeting.
Yeah,
You know,
we've got a meeting coming up, what, couple months?
Couple weeks, yeah, another month, that's gonna be on our agenda, because now that I found out this information, you know, I've been trying to get prices and so forth, and it's a no-brainer. It's free, you know what I mean, to monitor these. You don't even have to call. They're gonna know what something's going on up there. And if you call, at least they'll have visibility to the park before the officer gets there. If you say, hey, there's something going on by the concession stand, they're gonna hit that camera and say, okay, there he is. They'll be able to track that suspect pretty quickly. So I think it's a win-win. You know, these buildings, every town will have cameras in them, so it's gonna help. And if something, God forbid, happens up there, we'll have it, so.
I mean, the lighting of the basketball courts, I mean, we've talked about it at our meetings, it's, you know, it's always been about the kids, and you know, it still will be, but we've always tried to make it now geared towards some adults, if we wanna do pickup games with men, or women, or co-ed, or any of that kinda stuff, just, you know, you get out of work, you go have supper, and, you know, get together and play some basketball or something like that, and, you know, it does get dark, so if we can play an extra hour or two or whatever.
Yeah, the thing that we were worried about is the people that go up there that aren't playing the basketball, that go up there to hang around, you
Yep.
know.
And again, what Scott was saying, with
Whatever,
the
but-
lighting that we're putting up there, we're hoping that.
Lighting and the cameras will
Yep.
deter that no matter what.
Just
Yep.
that sign alone, you put surveillance, people, your average criminal is gonna be like, okay, they have lights, now they have cameras. Where are the cameras? They don't know, they're not gonna see them. They're gonna be way up in the trees on poles.
Yeah.
They're gonna be inaccessible to anybody, so.
And that was our biggest concern.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad you
Getting
spoke
back
up,
to what
yeah.
you were talking about, basically community policing the area. I mean, if you're not afraid to go over there and, you know, make your presence known and, you know, the kids get a little uncomfortable or whatever and they leave, that's great.
Mhm.
I mean, if you have to take it a step further, you do, but, I mean, at least people, again, what Scott said, the park is beautiful, it's only gonna get better, and, you know, if we can keep that kinda, you know, kids hanging out and just doing, you know, the wrong things rather than,
Or, you know,
Mhm.
you know,
I'd also like to make a suggestion for the road itself. The people that go in and out, that play softball, and the parents of the kids that play the softball, the hockey that goes on up there in the field, there's a lot of speeding on the road, so who would we talk to get like a speed bump out there?
or some kind of,
Or something to deter
Yeah,
them
be
from doing
DPW.
the speeding?
You can contact the, Bob Sosek, the DPW director, and he can facilitate where he could do that.
Yeah,
We could
that
put-
road's, it's
It-
gonna end in tragedy.
It is.
Nobody
You're-
stops, nobody uses the directionals, kids come whipping down there on their bikes, right smack.
Mhm.
We're out there Saturday and Sunday mornings watching, it's like, I'm surprised nothing's happened yet.
Yep,
People slam it in reverse, go flying up the road because they missed Gilman Waite, Michael's Lane.
right.
Instead of going down the round because they don't know that. There was a sign saying, hey, you missed the turn, keep going. That's fairly obvious,
but
but.
like we have 4 young children in the neighborhood now that are one house, 2 houses after me.
Right, right.
And they don't stop at that stop sign and just whip around.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the only.
I'll reach out to Bob too, but if you wanna reach out to him and just, you know, I'll give him these notes from the meeting, but I see it up there. They fly.
Yeah,
They-
yeah.
They fly. And,
No directionals,
nothing,
right up,
no.
right smack up the middle of it even.
nope. Maybe one of the old decommissioned police cars we can just park somewhere up there.
That'd
Put a-
just be a big target.
No,
That's a
that
good
sounds-
point.
That sounds all good now.
Mhm. Like I said, we can, you know, these guys can tweak the lights. If it's too intrusive or whatever, we can try to do something to make them, like you said, they're not like these old style halogen lights that just illuminate everything. They're not stadium lights. They're just more direct, indirect, the LED lights that are,
When would they be installed?
that's, we have to go through the Board of Selectmen and finish the process with the poll hearing and so forth, but once the Board of Selectmen get the information from tonight, they would move forward from what they wanna do.
So there's a possibility that this year it'll be installed, but they won't be running
Nope.
at night?
Nope, not, we're done. This season's closed, so the
Okay.
basketball court's not even finished yet, so you won't see that active now till next May.
Okay,
The security light will come on. We'll get that active this year to get that going if everything goes on, all set on his side. We'll get they'll be up, but they won't be running.
okay.
Just the security light will be running, cause that's done through Templeton
Maybe
Light.
the cameras, if you can swing it.
Yep, if we can swing the cameras this year. Cause now at the poles there, we actually have power to draw off of that end of town, so, which will, all ties together, you know what I mean? And those cameras are low voltage, just very easy to run, so. But that, putting that power on that end of the park gives us that capability now, so. Cause we have power at the concession stand side, now we'll have power down that end, so. Like you said, we can put outlets on that pole, we can put our own power on that pole to do whatever we need to do, so. But the cameras are the wave of the future. I mean, it's our eyes when we can't see, and, you know, we'll all have it set up on our phones, so we'll see motion happen on our phones too. So we'll see stuff on there also. So it's a win-win. They'll see it, we'll see it, between your eye, and you guys are the lifeblood of that park. I mean, you guys see everything that goes in and out of that park 24 hours a day. So without you, that park wouldn't survive, and we appreciate that you guys are doing what you, I mean, I drive up there and I see something suspicious, I'll drive up on them, and they'll get nervous and leave, but it's sad that we have to do that, but.
It's not the kids that are the issues, there's not even teenagers, there's
Nope.
no issues, we have
Nope.
no issues with that. You know, it's the people that wanna do bad things
Mhm.
at night,
Yep.
and, you know, we know who they are, or who we know what they're about.
Mhm.
It's the bottom line, so, you know, the lights would be a deterrent, and, you know, 9:30 at night is not late,
No.
so.
No, especially in the summertime, it's just
Oh, absolutely.
starting
Especially
to
the summer
darken
months.
up, you know what I mean, so.
Yeah.
And if we do hold a men's tournament, like you said, we'll send a letter out, just like you got for the neighborhood meeting, hey, we're gonna hold a tournament, do you mind if we run till 10 o'clock at night? That's all, you know, I mean, we won't run later than that. 10 o'clock, I think, is fair to shut the lights off for a men's tournament or a, you know, a men's league that we may run up there at night or something, but we'll let you know, just like, and the police will be notified, EMS, whenever we have tournaments or anything, they're all notified because of the capacity of people up there, so.
And at least people have something to do.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a win. It keeps people from causing trouble. If they have somewhere to go and play basketball and have a good time, you know, we'd like to cook out there. We'd like to do different things and hold stuff up over in that corner. And, you know, if we get power, we'll be able to do that over in that corner. So it's kind of been the dead zone. You know what I mean? It's always been a dark world for us because it's so far away from the concession stand that has the power. You know, now that these guys can draw power in and get that corner live, and I think it's just gonna make the playground last longer because if it's lit up, less vandalism will happen in that playground. You know what I mean? Thank God nothing's happened in there yet, but I'm sure there's graffiti and I'm sure there's people who you know, that's just the way it is. But that's a beautiful playground. It's probably one of the nicest ones I've seen, and I want to keep it there for a long time. So, but the park gets a ton of usage, as you know. It gets a ton of usage, and you know the plans to finish it are the irrigation's in place. Everything's coming together. You know, the concession stand's gonna get finished. Everything's there. The parking lot's gonna get the grindings put down. The dirt pile's gone. You know what I mean? The basketball court's gonna be brand new. Those poles and hoops are gonna be there long after we're gone. I mean, they're just high quality, and it all takes time. It all takes time. But with your help, we can succeed, and we definitely want to be in communication with you. You're our eyes and ears up there. We can't be up there. We're volunteers. We go up there when we can, but you guys live there. I mean, it's your park pretty much. So whatever we can do to improve it, the speed bumps, you know, maybe some postings of signs, maybe whatever we can do to slow people down and, you know.
Yeah, you've got the sign that says Gilman Waite, but it's this big and it's over
tiny,
here.
yeah, it's
no one
tiny.
knows where it is.
Right, and that's something.
They don't see it until they're halfway down by
It's
where
a street
Anian's
sign, that's
house
all it
used to
is.
be,
It's a
then
little
they fly
street sign.
backwards.
Yeah.
So I live on Fisher Street. I can tell when there's something going on up there because I get at least 12 cars that come down. You know where the ball fields are?
If something's going on up there, I'll stay in the house.
Oh, come on, you should
We'll
direct
have
them
a
down
park.
past that to
Lineup.
Fliss's.
No,
Just take the straight road, it'll get you there.
No, but that's something we could do. I mean, we could put a little bit bigger sign right on that sign right there, because they rip right past it, and then they're lost. They don't know where they're going.
No, they thought in reverse and they slam
Right,
backwards.
yeah.
I've seen it umpteen times.
Because they're late, their kid's late for a game, they're missing the game, so they're in a hurry to get there.
Yep.
So, no, that's a suggestion. I mean, we can definitely increase that signage a little bit. Maybe as you come into Gilman, you know, you're coming off 202, there's just that little tiny blue sign that doesn't, I mean,
There's
flag
a sign
football.
there?
Yeah, it's very small.
No one sees it.
Yeah.
I,
Says
nope.
Gilman?
Yeah, it's very small. It says Gilman Waite off of 202. It's very, very small on the island as you come off of 202.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's very small.
Phil, is he talking about the old bus stop?
I think so.
Yeah, right on the
Yeah, right
corner,
off- yeah.
right off Fisher,
Yeah.
and right there's a little tiny white sign. I think the school put it there.
Is that still there?
Yeah.
I don't even notice.
It's
it.
tiny.
I by it 100 times and I don't.
Yeah, it's actually, right in front of the blue, property
Yeah, yeah,
on that island.
Okay.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
tiny.
Yeah.
But you know, DW Design and All Around Fence made that beautiful sign, but it's inside the park. It's too late. You know what I mean? If they could design something maybe on a smaller scale to put outside, right on that corner where you live, where the street sign is now, maybe something nice right there, small.
Something that catches the attention. I think the green blends too much.
Yeah, yep, yep. But we can use the same style that we have inside the park. You know the nice one they made?
The
When you-
blue one, yeah.
Yeah, something on that, but smaller. You mean a smaller size?
That's not gonna happen. The wintertime, that's gonna get schmucked in 2.3 seconds. The front end loaders dump all the ice and snow
They dump it
right
there?
If you can get them to not do that, that'd be awesome too,
Yeah.
because that bucket loader wakes me up every time.
That's DPW, that's all Mr. Sozik.
But if you put a sign there, they wouldn't be able to. That's
Oh, no,
a good,
they
I
hit
like
your
that.
mailbox too. My mailbox was flying. There's duct tape on it.
Mine's good so far, but I didn't do it. I'm being Abe.
Oh, I thought you were a capitalist.
I was like,
I didn't do it.
So does anybody else, any concerns, questions?
No.
I think we have a good plan in place. I think I'm glad you spoke up because it opened our eyes a little bit to say, okay, we really need to dig a little deeper and say, okay, we wanna do this, but what's the big picture on the whole thing, so.
I mean, we've said it all along since we started, and it goes back to even the lighting of the softball fields, because that threw up a bunch of, everybody
Oh, I heard
started
it.
talking about that one, and, I mean, we just wanna be good neighbors up there. I mean, we're doing, like I said, it was about the kids, but now we're trying to make it a park for everybody. You know, whether it's a walking path with exercise stations, there's all kinds of plans up there right now, and we just,
That I'd enjoy.
yeah, no, that's in the, you know, it's down the road,
Yeah.
but that's all stuff that we're talking about in our meetings, and it's just a matter of, you know, coming up with the funding and whatever, and, yeah. It's gonna happen,
Oh, I'm sure.
yep, yep.
Yep, it's something that, you know, there's,
so the lighting for the baseball is gonna happen.
Well,
it can, the park is designed
that needs to get
have it.
enough, that
Way
needs to
better
get
than
enough support.
basketball.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, it's way better. Not a basketball person.
But, you know,
It's something that's still being discussed. It's nothing that's dead in the
No,
long
no,
run.
no.
No.
I mean,
if
we're
you-
always open to suggestions
Yeah.
up there. If people wanna come and if you wanna, start a group to get lights at Gilman Waite, then we're all for it.
Yep.
I mean, it's just, like Scott said, we're all volunteers, and
Sure.
I'm working on the building, and we've got irrigation and
things,
stuff
yeah.
like that, so, and I know Tom's more familiar with the electricity that we have up there I believe there's enough lighting up there, or
There's a
power
separate-
up there
yeah.
for lighting the fields, if we had to, or if we could.
There's a separate transformer. for
Yeah,
that,
so there was, the future is,
Oh, yeah,
we
absolutely.
looked
No,
into it.
No, I think the whole thing is great. I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, it's a great park. And it gets a lot of use, and I like the fact that they're up there playing flag football now,
Yeah.
and that they're playing soccer and the baseball. Hopefully,
And see,
the
that's-
boys' baseball team the high school team is gonna play there this year, I'm assuming.
That's where the irrigation comes in
And,
now, cause the
yeah,
field's getting
exactly.
used that much more, so now we need to
have
take
to
care of
water
it.
it, yeah.
We've gotta take care of them.
No question.
Yeah.
So, no, I think it's great.
My apologies, I didn't realize I broke up a meeting.
That's okay.
That's fine.
Sorry.
That's okay.
No, but like you said, the park was built to grow, you know what I mean? So it's just a matter, we need people to, because like you said, we're volunteers, we work 50 hours a week, we do what we can do, and, we need your help, like you said, you're the lifeblood of that park, so whatever suggestions, good or bad, or whatever, we need to know, because we don't hear anything till something like this bubbles up, and then it turns into a meeting, and it just gets silly, so.
I
But
mean,
I
if you
think
wanted, if you wanted to, I know the lights is here in town somewhere, Tom,
Yeah.
I'm not sure, do you know the lights that were donated for the fields?
I think
They were up at the sewer plant, but there was a plan to,
decommission them.
to recycle
so,
them.
I don't know, if
Yeah.
there's, like I said, if you could look into it, maybe see if it's something we could use, or we may have to go a whole different route, I don't know. But those were donated years ago, and they were in good condition then, so
Exactly.
who knows, there might be a college out there or somewhere else that would be willing to donate stuff.
We're just looking for energy efficient too. I mean, we can't,
Yeah.
those lights would cost, if we ran, I think it was $5 an hour for each bulb or something. It was,
Yeah, those
Yeah,
are
I'm sure it
1,500 watt bulbs.
those are huge. Those, I mean, $5 a bulb times 20 on a rack.
Mhm.
Huge. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
No question.
But we'd have to look for something, energy efficient, not gonna cause like a prison, to look like a prison up there either. We want them diffused on the field and not look gaudy up there either.
I
We
think
want
most
to-
of the new stuff you're gonna get, and I'm sure Tom
Yeah.
knows more about it, but, everything's gonna be kind of like down on the field.
Yeah.
It's not gonna illuminate the whole.
I think Gardner High School just put in brand new lights.
Yeah, their field, actually, the stuff drops right down on the
Yeah,
field. It's
you don't even
beautiful.
see it.
Yeah.
It's directly LED right on the field, so
Yeah.
it's, the new style of lighting, like you said, is just amazing what they can do, so. You don't have that old pollution where these lights are just lighting up the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think it's a good plan, and we'll keep you in tune of what we're doing and, when we get the progress of what we're going to do and anything else we're gonna add, we'll definitely, but I like the speed bump. I've talked about that with the DPW director already, because it's a nightmare up there. It's like a racetrack, and, cause someone's gonna get hit, that's what's gonna happen. And I don't wanna see that happen, so, but the lights will help with the darkness up there, because, sometimes a soccer practice, something ends, and it's dark, those kids are coming off the field, the sun's going down. Thank God we have that light in the parking lot now, because it would be, I remember when I first came on this board, it was pitch black, coming off a soccer practice at 5:30 at night this time of year. It gets dark quick, and all of a sudden you're in this total darkness up there. But now we have that light, at least get you out of the park, and I think the one down that we're gonna put in will get you safely out of the park, so. But, okay, so we'll go with that, and we'll keep you updated on everything we're gonna do, but I think it's a good plan, and I think, they definitely like to see you at our rec meetings. They're always posted when we have them. Please come. I mean, we hash out a lot of things at these meetings. We bring up 1,000 ideas, but we kind of leave them there because it's a good wish list, but it's just, we're volunteers and we don't have the time or to do what we'd like to do up there, so. But we try.
Yep.
Yeah, we try.
Good deal.
Well, I appreciate you all coming. I appreciate your input, and we'll keep you updated.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Bye, guys.
All right.